inspections and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at A1AutoLincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Hey, I don't want to hate on Joe Burrow. He's clearly in this tier.
Yeah.
I think he's the bottom of this tier.
He
I would
really
go
is.
Alan Jackson and then Burrow.
You should be a politician. You just convinced.
You know what I'm saying? You see what he did?
Yeah, he didn't have
He do it all the time. It's tricky, man.
Keep going, Jay.
No,
You're speaking my language.
Stop.
You're speaking my
Jay,
language. Come on.
You didn't let him get to the Jay.
hit you again.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
I once photoshopped Waldo out of a Where's Waldo pic and sent it to all my friends. Some men, Jake, just want to watch the world burn. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's a special edition of the Adam Carriker Show. We are live on location at Mulberry BBQ. All right, Mulberry BBQ, located at 61st and Highway 2. We are here from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. Again, we're live at Mulberry BBQ, 61st and Highway 2. Our proud sponsor of the lunch hour on the Adam Carriker Show. Try their burnt end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus their incredible sides. All right, that exact address is 6125 Apples Way here in Lincoln. Hour one of the Adam Carriker Show is also brought to you by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Whether it's residential or business, Hamilton has the answers. Visit hamiltontel.com. That's hamiltontel.com for more info today. Jake, I honestly have no idea if we're going to get through everything over the next 2 hours that we have to talk about. We have 7 clips we're going to play. I've got about 14 billion screenshots and notes. And Big Ten Media Days, we're going to give some reactions. We got a lot of quotes. We got a lot of things to get through, from college football playoff to Rule to Raiola to volleyball talk. This may roll over into Monday as well. All right, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. Not surprised to hear that the show is loaded, especially at that Big Ten Media Days where there is a lot said from several different coaches, but a lot even said from Coach Matt Rule and of course, dealing with their expectations this year and all that. So there is a lot to dive into. I do have to correct you. It's 8 clips, though, that we have today. So,
is it 8?
Yeah.
I lost track. After a while, I was like, I think I was texting. I was like, I think this is number 6. And then I was just like, I'm going to go with number 7. I lost track. So we got 8 clips to get to today. So why don't we dive right into it? What's this first clip that we have here? All right. Are we going to roll with the Dylan one where he talked about the goal as being national champs this year? Should we roll that one right out the gate? All right, let's go ahead. Let's roll that Dylan Raiola clip.
Las Vegas for Big Ten Media Days. Dylan, your day is really just getting started, but what are the first impressions of Media Day so far?
Kind of shocked. I mean, kind of shocked that I'm here in Vegas, but it's fun to kind of see all the other schools, see some players that I know. It's been fun so far.
Over the weekend, you told us you were really excited about the outfit. Can you give us a quick breakdown of what we got going on here?
So I got an all black with the little red piping. I got some spikes on my shoes. And then the inside, I've been actually practicing, because people are going to want to see the inside. So I got the card chips for Vegas. So this will be the only time I wear this.
One only time. Well, you are going into year 2.
Yeah.
And confidence, you can tell, is building for you. You've talked about just your leadership going into year 2. How have you seen yourself grow from year 1 going into camp in about a week?
Yeah, just being able to have the confidence to call people out, talk to guys, and then even just being around each other. We've had a whole 2 years together. They kind of know me. They know I'm goofy and fun, but at the same time, when it's football time, we get down to business. So they trust me and they believe in me. So I'm excited.
Talking to some of your teammates, there seems to be a different level of excitement for the offense coming into this season. How would you describe the feelings of what this offense can be this fall?
Yeah, I think explosive. That's cliche, but I don't really know any other way to put it. Coach Holgerson's been vacationing all July, so it's kind of been our show running it, but it's been fun. The guys know what we want. I know what they want, and so we just got to go out there and execute.
Having more time with Coach Holgerson, how would you describe your relationship with him and how he's been able to use you to design this offense?
Yeah, I think he's very quarterback friendly. He's going to do what their strengths are, and so I think that's a big advantage. and then just always making sure we're in the right play. I think that's where I've taken a step, is making sure that, if we have any bad plays, bad looks, to get us in the right play. And I think that can help us be more successful.
When you reflect on your freshman season, what do you feel like you've seen when you watch games back? Where do you feel like you've learned the most? Where have you grown the most?
I know the fans will love this, but running, I'm going to be excited to run a lot more this year. I've been training my butt off to, run and be quicker and faster. But no, I think just the overall winning moments when the game comes down to the line, because every game we played was close, and it's either you make the play to win the game or you don't make the play and you lose the game. So being able to put ourselves in position to do that has been a big focus.
This spring, Coach Rule said, "This is the team I've been waiting for," just from a compete mentality standpoint. What do you think he means by that? And do you agree with the makeup of this team and this roster?
I agree. He has to tell us to slow down, which is a good thing to have, I think. But guys just they compete so hard on the field for 3 hours of practice, and we get in the locker room. It's that's my brother. I'm gonna be my brother's keeper. So I don't know how that really works for a human brain to kind of want to beat each other up all practice and then come together after. But I think that's special, makes us unique.
About a month away, what's your expectation for yourself and this team this fall?
National championship. That's the bar that's been set. That's the journey we're going to choose to go on. And so anything other than that won't be a failure, but we'll just be a little disappointed.
Well, enjoy the day.
Thank you. Go Big Red.
So I've obviously heard that clip before, but I was taking notes because I want to go through kind of piece by piece what he talked about there. Starting off, the suit. Let's start with what's important, Jake. The suit. I remember the first time I ever wore any kind of any kind of suit was going down to Texas for Big 12 Media Days. First of all, rode in one of the tiniest planes ever, which freaked me out, being a large man and not being crazy about heights at the time. But that was actually the first time I ever wore a suit, and he clearly got a custom suit made for this. So he's taking it serious as something he was looking forward to, something he's excited about. But as you kind of get through some of the things they talked about, he said Rule has to literally tell them to slow down. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but he talked about the human mindset, the human being, about wanting to basically run into each other, hit each other. And I call that the physical mindset. That's a toughness that is built up over time. That is a toughness that is taught by coaches, is embraced by players, or it's not embraced by players. So the physical mindset, and that's what Rule was talking about in the spring when he said, this is the team I've been waiting for. The rest of that quote, which didn't get out initially, was from a physical mindset. They want to tackle. They want to go to the ground and practice, which you don't always do for those who aren't always able to be at practice. Sometimes coaches will keep players up from a safety standpoint. You want to keep guys healthy. When you got players begging to do more, to go harder, to go longer, to be more physical, when the coach has to tell you to slow down, that is a wonderful problem to have. That is the type of problem that you want to have. Before we get into the, national title expectations and goals and et cetera, what's your reaction to all that part of what Dylan had to say there, Jake?
Well, it's just kind of cool to hear, kind of the thoughts of Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola here specifically, kind of talking about the makeup of the team and where it's at. And that was a big theme, I think, from Big Ten Media Days that I took away was Matt Rule basically, and we've talked about it before, not shying down from this year 3. This is going to take the jump. And it's not just, blind luck. We've done it before. And he did sit, when he sat down with us at our table, he made sure to let us know there's a difference between building at Temple and Baylor. So it's not just, we checked off all these boxes. Now we're going to go out and win 10, 11 games. But it's not just like blind, hey, year 3's here, it's going to work. There are reasons why it's starting to look like it. And he really handed it over to the players, right? I mean, he's embraced that this is going to be the jump. This is the year they feel like they've got the culture on the team. They've got the championship expectations that they're talking about. But again, it's not just just saying it. It's got to be happening. And it is. And he's talked about how Raiola and some of the players that go out and kind of do their own practices, and not just that, but if they made mistakes, they'd start it over, or they'd make themselves run. So it really feels like to me, a big thing out of that, and you could hear it there a little bit from Dylan, is that this is a player run team. And I think that was always going to be important as far as taking that next step. And having and being able to kind of let loose a little bit if you're Coach Rule, not in any way that it just frees him up to do some of his other coaching stuff.
As a coach, your ultimate goal should be you get to a point with the team where the coaches are directors, but the players are the leaders. And maybe that's what we're starting to see. Maybe that's what they're hinting at with how this team has been this offseason, the culture, the mindset, the mentality, and the leadership. And I remember early on in the offseason, it might have been way back in January, February, one of the press conferences that Rule did, he talked about how, Dylan coming in as a true freshman, I mean, highly recruited, et cetera, but when you're a true freshman starting, it's sometimes you're not as comfortable being vocal. And Dylan talked about, calling the guy out, but in a positive way. Hey, we got to get better. You might not be as comfortable as that when you've just arrived on campus. Clearly, that's been mentioned a couple of times now over the course of the past few months, whether it's Rule, whether it's Raiola, being comfortable to take that leadership role. And the more coaches are directors and the more players are leaders, the more I genuinely like what I'm hearing as far as that C word, culture, all right, which was a phenomenal thing a few years ago, then kind of annoys people. But now I think when you think about it in a proper context and you have actual proper football leadership culture, it starts to make a comeback as far as it will make a gigantic difference, especially in games, especially at the end of games and tight games. Okay. And I like that it was pointed out, no, this is not the exact same as Baylor and Temple. First of all, the conference was way different, but college football is way different. We went through this either a week or 2 weeks ago. I listed all the returning experience that Matt Rule had year 3 at Baylor, year 3 at Temple. It was like 90% in the linebacker core. It was like 80% here and 80% there. And I think one of the position groups, I want to say it was wide receivers, I could be wrong, was like 66% returning production, and that was the lowest. We don't have that here. But college football is also different. It's the transfer portal. All right, so guys are going to come and go much more freely. So having that kind of returning production in college football may honestly never happen again. All right, especially we'll see how long it takes to rein in the wild, wild west that is the transfer portal. But depending on transfer players to come in and counting on them to come in is almost today's modern day college football version of returning production, because these guys have production. They are returning to college football. Maybe this is their first year with your program, but you're counting on them just as if they were the aforementioned returning production and or players that Rule had at Temple or Baylor. Do got to mention the Big Ten is different than the AAC or the Big 12, even back then when the Big 12 had Oklahoma and Texas. And obviously there's been more coaching changes. So this has been its own unique animal, but every job is. I don't know if it's a good thing or that's a bad thing. It just is what it is. All right. The national title thing. And, when I heard this, I was like, I don't think people are going to go crazy with this, because I think people are going to take it for what he intended. And that is the impression that I've gotten. What he intended is we're out here to try to be the best we can be. Well, the best is to win the national title. And if you're trying to be anything other than that as a highly competitive athlete, then you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry. If you're not trying to be the absolute best, like Stone Cold said, if you're not trying to win the WWF championship at the time, you're in the wrong business. It's the same thing. If you're not trying to be the best, you're in the wrong business. Now, what will actually happen? Hey, that remains to be seen. You've got Florida State, who was undefeated, then won 2 games and only beat one Power 4 team the next year. Who would have predicted either one of those things, let alone last year? Then you got Indiana, who goes 11-1. You never know what will happen. But if you don't have that mindset to begin with, you don't have a shot for any of those things to happen. So I love the mindset, the mentality, and I can't wait to see what actually happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it goes the wrong way, you're going to get mocked for those statements, but that's fine. I mean, you've got to have the confidence. You got to be able to believe in what you do, and it really stood out to me in the bowl game last year that they were talking about, because you were kind of wondering it was. Bowl games, as we know, kind of weird now. They're already kind of looking into the next season, and they were saying over and over, Coach Rule, Raiola, anybody you talk to would say that the goal is the playoffs, and that always stood out to me. Now they seem to move that up a little bit, and I like that, because you don't want to, have this magical season, then get to the playoffs and said we did it, right? You want to go for the ultimate prize, and if they feel like they can be a 9 or 10 win team, which people are expecting in modern day, you're a 9-win Big Ten team. Talk about those close games. I mean, you're just right there for competing for a playoff, and we've seen it too. I mean, it's no longer that doesn't even necessarily mean he thinks they're going to go undefeated, though. I'm sure he's implying that as well. But we saw Ohio State lost 2 games last year, so there's a little bit more room for error within that statement than there has traditionally been in college football as well.
Well, they showed last year you can finish 4th in the Big Ten and win a national title. So we just shooting for top 4 in the Big Ten and then get in, and you never know what will happen. That's kind of what modern day college football and the CFP really is nowadays. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are at Mulberry BBQ live on location. Today's special is the burnt end dinner plate, all right, for $17 with sides and a drink. 2 sides and a drink, ladies and gentlemen. Come join us out here at Mulberry BBQ, located at 61st and Highway 2. 6125 Apples Way is the exact address, 61st and Highway 2. All right. we would be remiss if we didn't mention this, whether we're wrestling fans or not. All right. This has been and we're obviously going to get back to a whole lot more Husker football talk, Big Ten Media Days reaction, Rule, Raiola, and the like. Lost 3 icons this week. All right. Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and Hulk Hogan. All right. And whether you're a wrestling fan or not, I have seen podcasts all over the place since yesterday when this news broke talking about Hulk Hogan, because he wasn't just a wrestling icon. He was a cultural icon. And I heard a couple, like Megyn Kelly was talking about this, and Stephen A. Smith was talking about this, and all sorts of different. Stephen A. Smith's a little more sports oriented, at least, but all sorts of podcasts and just talking about what this guy meant. Now, there's things, whether the 80s and 90s, when he felt like he was on top of the wrestling world and one of the cultural icons, things that have happened since then that maybe have turned some people away. Where I kind of land on this is, hey, if you're like, what he did was undeniable, and you want to recognize that, I'm perfectly cool with that. If you're like, hey, some of the other stuff made me not so much a fan of him anymore, I'm perfectly fine with that too. It's wherever you land. You know, me personally, I'm good either way. When it comes to Hulk Hogan, though, I forget which podcast I was listening to. They were talking about if you made just a pop culture Mount Rushmore in the late 80s, early 90s, it would have been like Jordan, it would have been Hogan, and then they listed 2 other people. And I forget, it wasn't Ali, because Ali was like late 70s, early 80s. But I was like, man, really? He was that big? I didn't even realize he was like, he's not probably like on Jordan's level, but he'd be on that Mount Rushmore at that time, just from a cultural perspective. So when you found out he passed away yesterday, you know, I was surprised he's 71. But when you think about a lot of the guys he wrestled with, Macho's been gone for a decade, Warrior's been gone for half a decade, a lot of the other guys that aren't around anymore. I know Diamond Dallas Page with his DDP yoga is helping a lot of wrestlers lose weight, get healthy, extend the length of their lives. But Hulk Hogan was 71, Terry Bollea. What was your reaction when you found out he passed away cardiac arrest yesterday?
Well, it was shocking and unfortunate. It was interesting because he did come to Lincoln for his Great American Beer Tour. So I was able to see him this past year in October. Actually at a restaurant here in Lincoln, and it was the first time I'd seen him. I never was able to watch him wrestle, and so it was just kind of cool because he goes outside of just, hey, there's a celebrity. It is an icon, and I think we throw around the term icon a little bit too much, right? And I think it sometimes takes away from those that are. And I'll even say within wrestling circles, Sting is called the Icon Sting. I don't think he's quite transcends to like iconic, coming down for the Raptors and all that. There was a time, especially when wrestling was more in pop culture, that he was more recognizable. I'm not saying he wasn't. That's why he gets the nickname. But when you talk about true icons, that's what you're talking about. Like not just wrestling fans, just in general in America. He had the I'm a Real American theme song, all that sort of stuff. So at times was fighting for America at times there. So that's what it came down to. I mean, there's certain things you remember in certain celebrities that pass away that maybe impacted your childhood or impacted just the way that it was for everybody growing up. I remember where I was when I heard about Michael Jackson. It's that kind of blow, I thought, this week. And it was crazy. I said, following Ozzy Osbourne, who is in the same kind of the same vein in the rock and roll genre, to lose that much of the culture, not just in the 90s, but I think even into the 2000s, because both of them had reality TV shows when reality TV shows kind of popped off. And there are very few, celebrities that I could name their whole family off. I could name each one of their whole family off, recognize them, kind of followed their career, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the field we're talking about with Hulk Hogan. Like you said, there's controversies beyond that, and it's unfortunate to me, anyways, that his last appearance in WWE, he was somewhat booed out of there.
Somewhat,
but, yeah,
somewhat.
But that's what happens. I mean, he's controversial, and when you've had, and I'm not gonna, if you looked up what he said at times, it's been pretty bad. But when you have a camera on, when you have a microphone on you. He is human. He's gonna, you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught up at some times and not look in the best light. Again, that's not trying to make up for what he said. It's just saying, there are a lot of us that have had mistakes that weren't brought to national media's attention and therefore aren't kind of thrown, kind of put into the dark corner there. But it just, especially as a wrestling fan, he's just the guy. I mean, I put him at #1 wrestler of all time because he helped blow up professional wrestling. I mean, to the point, again, it still strikes me a little bit odd when I see the ticker on SportsCenter and it says wrestling. It doesn't even say pro wrestling. You know, it's not like trying to explain away, hey, this is all predetermined and stuff. It just kind of is in its own space in American culture. And a lot of that is because of Hulk Hogan.
Wrestling is not two people, a lot more. But the two main guys, wrestling is not what it is today without Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan. Now, there's a lot of things you can look at away from wrestling, both of those guys, and like, I don't know. My one thing that I learned, because Hulk Hogan actually, Terry Bollea did apologize to the WWE locker room, kind of. What he really said was don't get caught. So what I took away from that is if you're going to apologize, make it genuine or just don't do it at all. You know what I mean? Because that actually made it worse in a lot of people's eyes, okay, when he went and apologized kind of to the locker room. I will say this, though. I respect, he took down Gawker. Gawker was one of those things that was a gotcha website, going to run with everything. Let's just call it what it was. Lack of journalistic integrity and constant headline chasing. And they printed stuff that wasn't true. They printed stuff they didn't really have the rights to, ran with videos, etc., and he took them down. So there's got to be a certain amount of accountability. And I always appreciated that about him because at least he did that. His last appearance in WWE, man, he didn't kind of get booed out of the building, but I thought it was funny. Did you hear this story? He turned to Jimmy Hart because Jimmy Hart came out with him, was waving the American flag. He goes, Jimmy, man, you got a lot of heat with the fans. And I actually thought that was a funny reaction. I actually had a chance to meet him. He was in TNA. It would have been about 10 years ago. Jacob got a chance to meet him. I think it was so long ago. Jacob might have been our only. No, we had Addison and Trinity. And actually, we had Addison, we had Jacob. Angie was pregnant with Trinity when we went to Disney World, and she walked around all day Disney World pregnant. Just a freaking warrior right there. But Earl Hebner and his son Brian Hebner were huge Redskins fans, and I was playing for the Skins. Invited me to the TNA show. I got to go backstage. I got to meet. Like I've got pictures with Angle and AJ Styles, and got to meet Hogan. Got a picture with him, and so does Jacob, and got to meet Brooke. It was interesting when I met Hogan. Keep in mind, this was at least 10 years ago. He was not as big as I anticipated, but there was two aspects to that. Number two, I think he had legit kind of shrunk a little bit. I mean, he was in his early to mid 60s by this point. He also had 14 back surgeries at that point. And so he was not, like his back wasn't working the same. I think he'd actually had a little bit of a slouch, if I remember. 14 back surgeries. I mean, that's a lot, you know. But got the chance to meet him, got the chance to meet Brooke. They got in their car and drove away right afterwards. So that was kind of cool. And as far as, you know, wrestling and who's the greatest, a lot of people would say Stone Cold. I know DP is partial to Andre the Giant, who is probably the greatest attraction pro wrestling's ever seen. Every wrestler's an attraction in a certain kind of way, but he's probably the greatest single attraction pro wrestling's ever seen. So it depends on the definition of greatest. With Hogan, there's so many people talking about it right now because of his extension beyond pro wrestling. He was the first pro wrestler to ever be on Sports Illustrated. He had shows and movies before The Rock ever did those things. Now, not all of them were phenomenal hits, but he was the first one to ever try to do them. You can go into foreign countries and they'll recognize that Fu Manchu and that hair and the bandana. I was going to say the bald spot, but the bandana and everything else. Like, they're going to recognize that. You know, all these other guys are phenomenal and great, and he had a great babyface run. He had a great heel run that revolutionized the industry with the NWO. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can mention. Bruno Sammartino is a guy who was a long time ago, but had the record for the amount of consecutive days as a champion. You could bring up Stone Cold's another guy you could bring up. I've always thought Hogan had the worldwide appeal. I always thought he had the longer run. He was successful babyface, successful heel. Stone Cold was the whitest hot wrestler in the history of pro wrestling. It was just a more condensed time and a little bit limited as far as how that exposure went and the babyface versus heel. When he tried to go heel, it didn't go so well. So for me, that's neither here nor there, but, you know, recognizing the Hulk Hogan passed away. And I'm curious, Jake, because normally this computer is not in front of me. How do I see the comments here? There's a reason it's always in front of you.
I reach over.
Can you see the comments there? See what people. All right, here we go. Hulk Hogan single-handedly stopped the Cold War. Is that a WrestleMania 7 and Sergeant Slaughter reference? That's great. I love that. All right, so people are texting in. Andre the Giant, Ross Francis. Who's that? Ross Francis.
Not sure.
All right, Craig Carvalho. Maybe explain who that is. Maybe that predates my time. Maybe I don't know as much as I think I know, which is probably the truth. So, all right, send us your comments, thoughts, texts, questions, and or otherwise. What's that number there, Jake?
402-464-5685. And one last point I would like to make: who's done more with balding than Hulk Hogan?
Oh man,
that is.
Although he covered it up.
He did.
He covered it up.
did.
So does that count?
Well, you got to take it off when you actually wrestle.
Well, that's true. Although The Rock has been balding for quite a while now, does that count? Or
well, it's a lot of people can
Stone
like
Cold.
just shave their head and go with it,
Ooh.
but he's like actively balding and
That's
like,
true.
let's just keep it and make it part of my thing.
Ooh. There's a difference between being balding and completely shaven bald head. That's a good point. I can't think of anyone who's done more with a little less hair than Hulk Hogan. It helps that it's blonde. Do you know if that was a natural blonde? Because his whiskers would come in dark.
Yeah, I don't know if that was natural.
That was interesting. Brooke was blonde. She was definitely blonde.
Yeah,
when I met
that's
her.
true.
You can see that on TV there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to dive back into Big Ten Media Days, and we have, let me see, what'd you say, 7 more clips and about 14,000 notes to get through. Don't go anywhere. We are live at Mulberry BBQ. We'll be right back.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We're going to be partly to mostly cloudy here for your Friday. Very slight chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon into this evening. High temperature of 83 degrees with a light southerly wind. We'll drop down to 70 for a low tonight before we hit 90 for a high on Saturday, and then we'll be pushing triple digits Sunday and Monday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downford, 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Parenthood turns you into a morning person the same way being chased by a bear makes you a runner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Once again, we are live on location. Come join us at Mulberry BBQ, located at 61st and Highway 2. They're the proud sponsor of the lunch hour on the Adam Carriker Show, but today we're here for a full 2 hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today's special is the burnt end dinner plate for just $17 with 2 sides and a drink. You can try their burnt end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus their incredible sides. Hour 1 of this fine program is also brought to you by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. That's 124 years, ladies and gentlemen. That is very impressive. Whether it's residential or business, Hamilton has the answers. Visit hamiltontel.com. That's hamiltontel.com for more info today. What are we looking at here?
Oh, I'm just pointing to Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton. I like it. I like it. So read that for the fine folks so we can depress everybody who's our age, Jake.
The PS2 was released 25 years ago.
Oh, daggers. What's with you and your daggers, Jake? Jeez,
You
good
made me do
Lord.
that
All right, that's the whole reason. All right. Before we move on to the next clip, this is I wanted to revisit this part of Dylan's quote, and I quote, "I know fans will love this." When talked about something he wants to do better at, he's been working at, do more of next year. "I know fans will love this, but running, I'm going to be excited to run a lot more this year," end quote. Here are my thoughts on Dylan Raiola running. Number one, I think he's faster than people realize. I think number two, he doesn't want to run, and that's okay. Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks who are really good quarterbacks who scramble to create time to throw the ball downfield. No problem with that. You mentioned to me during the break, so I'm going to steal your thunder a little bit. Appreciate you letting me borrow it.
Yep.
It's not about the running, the lack thereof, the speed, the lack thereof, or the improvement, or whatever the case may be. It's if there's 8 yards there, by God, go take 8 yards. And if you're 2 yards short of the first down, dive for that first down. All right, slide at the appropriate time, dive for the first down at the appropriate time, go out of bounds at the appropriate time, be willing to take what the defense gives you. And if he does that, I think Husker fans would be happy, because beyond that, nobody really expects anything more. Beyond that, even his brother Dayton did an interview earlier this summer, and one of the things Dayton said is, he likes contact when he runs. He actually likes that initial contact. Not everybody is that same way, and that's okay. But take what the defense gives you. Don't hesitate. Make the decision and go. No, by God, if there's a 30-yard throw downfield, hit the 30-yard throw. But you got anything else before we move on there, Jake?
Well, it's just kind of interesting. I mean, I remember talking to Connor Station, a Nebraska basketball player, and he said he kind of phrased it interesting, which I'll kind of write back in here, is that his D1 skill is shooting. He's got other skills. Like he's not it's not like you're just throw him out there. He can't defend whatsoever or anything like that, but his Division I skill is shooting. And that's kind of where, when you kind of go back to Dylan Raiola, he's never going to have the Division I skill of running the football. Not that he can't do it, but that's not why he's here. But you still want to amplify that portion of your game. And that's what's going to be interesting to see if he can do that over the next couple of years. He's never going to run for 200 yards in a game, let alone a season. But or in a
He
season,
could
let
run
alone
for
a game.
200 in a season.
Well, I'm saying with sacks and stuff like that. I
Oh,
highly
that's
doubt
right.
he's going to
Okay. Fair
even,
point.
probably end with 200 yards, or even on the positive side. But that's fine. You just kind of has to learn to take, again, like you said, what the defense gives you. You don't have to get every last yard out of sliding. We saw that in the Boston College game as well. You can kind of give yourself up to a degree, but he really struggled with identifying where the first down was last year. When he was running, he'd slide early. Sometimes there was, as he looks up to Patrick Mahomes, which we'll get to later, he is one of the best at scrambling in the pocket, not going behind the line of scrimmage and finding somebody downfield. So it's almost like he almost overemphasized that last year too, where at times it's just like, third down, just run. You don't have to try to hit a guy on the move when there's 4 yards in front of you and it's 3rd and 4. So it's these things where it's like not asking the world out of him, but in the body, the training, all that sort of stuff, that's important, just to get that little extra speed that you're going to get. But more importantly, it's just becoming comfortable with scrambling, with running, with being able to do it. Doesn't have to be the number one, tool that you've got in your tool belt. But if you can just kind of learn how to work around it, it really can help you in a big way become a much better quarterback.
Absolutely. All right. Let's move on to that next clip. So the next clip is got multiple parts to it. It talks about Rule on Frost and his thoughts on Frost and some of the things Frost had to say. Also, it's Rule on the job at Nebraska, what it was like when he first got here, where he believes it's at now. All right. So let's go ahead and let's roll that next clip.
First of all, I have a ton of respect for Scott, and I've always been very empathetic for what he went through because, this was his home. If you guys fire me tomorrow, I'm just going to go back to Cape May and sit on the beach and go back to where I'm from. But, this was his home, right? And so, this offseason, we put up a huge picture of Scott as a player in the coach's area because I took a picture and I sent it to Ryan Callahan down there because I can't imagine, what that feels like for him, right? I know what it felt like to get run out of Carolina. And I would say to people, I don't think I took the right job for me. It wasn't the right fit. That doesn't mean it's a bad. No, I will say this. This was not a good job when I got here. Behind on NIL. The facilities weren't what they were. Everything was behind. Trev convinced me, hey, Matt, this is going to, by the time we get to the point where we're going to be able to pay players, this is the only Big Ten school with no debt. We're going to, this, right now we're talking about 20.5. It's going to go up percentages every year. And we're at a place where we have the best facility in football. We have everything that we could want. We make more of an investment in nutrition than any other team in the country. I mean, look at all of our sports. Look at how they're all blossoming right now because of the investments we're making in nutrition, sports science. There wasn't a sauna in the facility when we first got there. And now you got to pick between a steam room, a sauna, an infrared sauna, your personal sauna. Those were investments. Scott came at a time, he had COVID, he had all these different things. So I can't talk about his time. But what I can say was this wasn't a good job. Yeah, it was not a good job. But we've made it a good job, and we're about to make it a great job. This will be one of the best jobs in the country. And that's why sometimes recruits will say, Coach, if you win, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm gonna stay right here. The only thing I ever think about is getting a lake house in one of these lakes in Nebraska I keep hearing about.
Thoughts here as I finish. I've heard all these before, but I always like to take notes to make sure I'm able to give somewhat of an intelligent response there, Jake. All right. So we'll take this as far as his words on Frost. And then we'll move into the job, what it was, what he believes it is, what he believes it's going to be going forward. Now, I know for a fact that he's picked up the phone. He called Scott Frost. He called Pelini and said, hey, what do I need to know about this job when he was hired? Okay. Now, I cannot confirm for sure whether he ever spoke to Bill Callahan or not. My gut tells me he probably tried to call. Bill may not have returned the call, just based on certain things that I know, but I cannot confirm or deny that for sure. But I know he spoke to Frost. I know he spoke to Pelini. I know he's sympathetic to them because, like he said, he knows what it's like to be fired. He knows what it's like to have a crowd chant, fire this coach, insert his name. And he knows, in his words, he felt like he was ran out of Carolina. So he's sympathetic to that. It's not lost on him. If this job goes well, he's going to be here for a long time. He's made it clear he wants to stay here. And if it doesn't, he may not. And he could possibly foresee himself at some point in that same position. So you become sympathetic. I'm not saying it's going to happen, to be clear. In fact, I'd be surprised, very, very surprised if it does. I expect the exact opposite. but you can be sympathetic to somebody who's been through something similar to what you've been through, or something you could see yourself potentially going through. And Rhule's always going to handle himself in class and whenever he's in a public forum. Okay. And that's exactly what he did when it came to Frost. When it comes to the job was not good when he got here, he said. He believes they've got the best facilities in the country now, and it's a good job now. When I heard that, and again, that's kind of a little bit his way of sticking up for Frost, I do think as well. When I heard that, my first thought was, well, Frost was the head coach for 4 years before you got here, and how good a job is or is not isn't always directly correlated 100% to the head coach, because is he getting what he needs? Is he armed with the tools that he needs? And I'll go back to a conversation that I had with Greg Austin, the offensive line coach, the first spring that Frost was here before he ever coached an actual game, okay, as a head coach in Nebraska. And Austin, my former teammate, said Bill Moose has given Frost everything he's ever wanted. Or not ever wanted, everything he's asked for is what he said. And so to that point, I know that he had. Now, we don't need to spend a ton of time on this, okay, but how good a job is or is not, if a coach is being equipped with what he needs, then correlates directly to the coach. Now, when Rhule gets here, all he can do is assess, this is what it is, this is where I believe we need to be, and we're going to try to get there. And I guarantee in his mind, I will say this, I didn't know a sauna was essential to winning football games. I've seen NFL teams with saunas. I've seen them without saunas. I thought that was interesting, but the point that he was making was we have everything you could possibly need now, or it's on the way. And this is a good job now, where he didn't believe it was when he first got here. Regardless of why or why not it was a good job or was not a good job. And it is now a good job. They've made the upgrades, and he's building towards the future and a long-term future where he intends to be here. And those were my kind of biggest takeaways. Also, something else I don't know that I've ever heard like people directly talk about since I heard that quote: no debt. The only Big Ten school with no debt. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not small. That's not medium. That's not huge. That's a gargantuanly positive thing for Nebraska. I'm staring at an article that was sent to me. By the way, half the stuff that I read on the show is sent to me from people. Now I got to vet it, but if I have to vet your stuff too much, I just quit listening to you. So it's sent to me by people I trust, and then I vet it, I look at it, and I choose what sticks out on the show. Iowa State facing a $147 million deficit. Iowa State athletics has to halt building stuff for wrestling, building a new coliseum and a new stadium for their football team. $147 million in debt. Nebraska has zero. And the only school in the Big Ten was zero. That is a ginormous thing in a positive direction for Nebraska football and athletics as a whole.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's interesting, too. There's a few things that kind of stuck out to me there, too. Basically, pointing to the facility and saying all sports are blossoming. It continues to kind of go through this theme of no excuses, this year 3 expectation stuff. Again, we've talked about whether you do it or not. Does it put you in the best place or not? Well, whether or not you win or not, it's going to happen. Year 3 is going to happen. And so it's almost like speaking it into existence, because that doesn't take pressure off you. He's saying, hey, look, everybody else around us is winning. We should be winning too because of these facilities. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Not a good job coming in. Didn't love it, right? I mean, I think that's trying. I get it. What I did love was sticking up for Scott Frost. There are players that still know Scott Frost, communicate with Scott Frost, I'm sure, used to play with Scott Frost. So I love that he kind of stuck up for him. But it kind of goes back to, there are always going to be things that are difficult in the Nebraska job that we know about: geography, lack of in-state talent as far as filling out a football team and all that sort of stuff that's been there for years. But I never like to hear that when at Nebraska. I really do believe we have the greatest fans. I don't just say it. I think we have the greatest fans in college football, and you always have, regardless of what your record is, 80,000 people packing the building and making it the event of the day. So there's a certain way of seeing it, but I get what he was saying. But also, I don't love hearing that, because I think it also somewhat excuses a little bit of what the results have been so far.
My personal opinion, I just don't think it was entirely true, because you're ignoring the insane positive benefits that come along and are unique to Nebraska. Are there unique challenges? Yeah, there's also insanely positive benefits that are unique to Nebraska as well. Matt Rhule's going to express his opinion. He's obviously 100% entitled to, and he's the coach. I mean, he knows best, so to speak.
Right,
okay?
Absolutely.
But when you talk about in-state talent, Torrey Pittman, safety, right? Omaha Central is now the number 1 safety in the entire country. Just got his 5th star, number 16 overall recruit in the country, number 1 safety in the entire country. there's more Division I talent coming out of Nebraska this year than there has been in years. So let's just keep that in mind as well. So someone mentioned to me the Rule was clearly frustrated at certain points with certain things that he said with some of the travel that's kind of built into this year's schedule a little bit. You know, Maryland going halfway across the country, then you go on a short week up to Minnesota. You know, another thing that someone sent me, which I don't completely buy into, Penn State and then a short week is Iowa. I'm like, well, we play Iowa at home. So for me, that Maryland to Minnesota thing is something that I pointed out, but it's kind of the no excuses thing. Like at a certain point, Oregon played for 8 straight weeks last year, had to go to Madison. Wisconsin was the home team coming off a bye week, hosting them. Oregon had to travel 2 time zones and had to figure out a way to win, and they did it. At a certain point, no excuses. Just kind of get the job done. All right. We better head to break, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are at Mulberry BBQ. Come join us, located 61st and Highway 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Schwieso Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwieso Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwieso.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option: Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. That was awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, Jake exploded while I did the boom. That was great. All right, we're on location live here at Mulberry BBQ, located at 61st and Highway 2 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. Come join us. I'm going to hold up an example of the delicious food they have here. The food I talk about every day that makes me hungry is now directly right in front of me, Jake. All right, so we have got ribs, one of my personal favorites. You've got sausage, you've got chicken, you've got pork, and you've got brisket, ladies and gentlemen. Again, come join us, Mulberry BBQ, 61st and Highway 2. All right, we got to fire through this one quick. We got a lot to dive into. I thought Steve Sipple had a great thing on X that he put out, all right, during Big Ten Media Days, because close games was brought up. It was brought up and it was talked about, and Rule talked about it. Here's what Sipple had to say on X. I do love what Rule said about close game. Losses. Don't panic. Go make a play. And then Sipple goes like me, colon, or is that a semicolon? That's a colon, right? Yeah. Go make a damned play. This isn't witchcraft. Go make a play. It's doing the same thing the last 5 minutes of the game that you did the first 55 minutes and being able to do it when it matters the most. And frankly, it's the hardest because it's the most pressure, which is why it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But if you don't make the moment bigger than it is, don't make it bigger than it is. It's football. Go make a play. It's not witchcraft. Go make a play. And it sounds simple. It's harder than it sounds, but it's not as difficult as it's been for the previous few years for Nebraska football. Either we do have a clip we're going to play of our best friend, big fan, PJ Fleck. But before we get into the guy that I might have to now be a fan of, after you hear the clip, you might know why. Somebody sent in, let me see, Andrew on the text line, Mount Rushmore of WWE, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, John Cena. What say you?
I think that's got a pretty good argument there. I like that.
I think Hogan and Stone Cold are gimmies.
Yeah.
I think 3 and 4 can always be up for debate. Undertaker, Flair, Cena, The Rock is debatable. You know, I know DP again. He would put Andre the Giant on there. I think Hogan and Stone Cold are the two gimmies. After that, it's kind of, Bruno Sammartino gets forgotten about a lot. Some folks might like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. All right, but that's, I don't know. Hogan and Stone Cold, they ain't on your Mount Rushmore. We got to discuss your Mount Rushmore as a whole. All right, let's get into that PJ Fleck clip.
One of the most dangerous teams in the Big Ten is Nebraska. I think because of I know what Matt Rule had created at Temple. I know what he did at Baylor. I know the type of human being he is, and he's awakening it. That's for sure. And he's a special person. One thing I respect about him, he has a systematic approach of how he wants it done and what it looks like. And I think every coach, you can have that, but you still have to have the proof that it works. And because there's a lot of hard times and a lot of hard days that come up that really test how bad you actually want that as a head coach. And Matt has a clear path of exactly what he wants. We're all as head coaches finding and striving for clarity. And I think that's one thing he always has. He has a clear vision of what he wants to do, what it looks like, what the expectations are, and how to get there. He's a process-oriented coach, and I think that's going to pay off.
All right, Jake. Are we now officially fans of PJ Fleck?
Well, I have been. I don't know how you don't love the guy. Especially his opening statement, kind of propping up his players and boasting about Minnesota and what they've done there. And then, obviously here, giving a lot of credit to Matt Rule and what he's been able to do, calls Nebraska a dangerous team. Reading through the lines, maybe it was, if you lose to him and then it doesn't look so bad when you actually respect him to begin with. So, I mean, there could be some of that there, but no, I absolutely love it. And he's right. I mean, it's, he can see it because I think he's kind of the same way, a process-oriented coach that is a little further along in his build at Minnesota, right? And he's kind of seeing that plan coming through with Matt Rule at Nebraska right now.
Does it mean I'm not allowed to call him Mr. Ankles anymore?
He still didn't wear any socks this year.
He didn't?
I don't think so. I saw at least one picture of his ankles. Yes.
I'm halfway impressed that he doesn't get blisters. I couldn't do that in dress shoes. I'm a big dude. I sweat a lot. It's going to create blisters in about 2 minutes.
Brett
for me.
Bielema actually did that last year too as a big man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. All right. My final thoughts on PJ Fleck's statement. I think he's doing a little bit of coach speak. He's also speaking a whole lot of truth that he believes. I think he's sending a message to his players. Like, we better be ready. We have beaten this team a lot lately. They're going to come up ready to play. They're sick of losing to us. Like, hey, let's be ready. And I also think he was speaking a lot of truth. I believe that is his opinion, and he believes Nebraska is dangerous. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, hour 2 and about 15 more clips to play. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also, no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Although we can't control the air we breathe outside our home, we can make a healthy difference inside, and all it takes is a call to Bryant. With healthy air options, Bryant can help you eliminate allergens, odors, and harmful chemicals, all while controlling indoor humidity levels at the same time. If it's time for a breath of fresh air inside, it's time to call Bryant. Breathe easy, breathe healthy. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Burglar, aren't you going to call the cops? Me? Why? No one else knows you're here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is the hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show, brought to you by our good friends, whom we are also on location at today, Mulberry BBQ. All right, come on down, 61st and Highway 2. We're here until 1 o'clock. Let's see. Try the burn-end sandwich, brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus, get their incredible size. Today's special is the burn-end dinner plate for $17 with 2 sides and a delicious drink. Also, hour 2 of this program is brought to you by our friends from Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors. Value quality work in a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCHWISOW.com. All right, Jake, what do we got? 5 clips left. Let's dive into Matt Rule talking about the football team and how they feel about the football team, Nebraska's football team, going into this season.
And if I say one thing, I'll say this. We like our football team. I like to coach football because of the players. I have so many guys I could have brought, but Deshaun Singleton, Marquise Buford, Henry Lutovsky, Dylan Raiola, just tremendous leaders, tremendous representatives of what we're trying to get done. I'll answer your questions, but I'm proud of all the things that we're doing. We're at a whole different place academically. You know, we're talking. People ask me about rev share. They'll ask me about the playoffs. This is still a place where young people can transform their lives through education. And I think we're doing that at a high level. 3.3 cumulative GPA. I'm proud of all the guys. 86% of our guys are over a 3.0 cum. So we're getting it done in the classroom, and now it's time for us to continue to get it done on the football field. And if I say one thing, I'll say this. We like our football team. We like our football team a lot. We believe in the guys. It's those 4 guys I mentioned. It's all the guys back in Lincoln. We believe that we can play with anybody. And we've had our highs and lows, our ups and downs. We've been through a lot in 2 years together. And we're going to go make a run at this thing this year. So I'm grateful to coach them. It's been probably the most fun I've had in a long time, and excited to talk about them.
All right, what's your takeaway there, Jake? He's excited about the football team, likes what they have. I'll say one thing before you dive into the football aspect of this. When's the last time you heard somebody actually bring up academics when it came to student athletes? We still say student, right? Or did we just completely abandon that? Because it used to be first for a reason. Now it's almost like it's completely dropped. But 86% over a 3.0 GPA. I love that academics still matters to Matt Rule. But what say you? And then we can dive a little bit more into the football aspect.
Well, it's not just academics for me. It's also the 3.0, because that's where I hovered, and I was happy about that. I remember in one of my exiting classes, I was going to put that on my resume, and the teacher said, "Hey, you know, you really don't need to put that there unless it's like a 4.0 or something." I was like, well, I was proud of my 3.0. So, or, you know, it's slightly
I was a 3.0 as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
I get you.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that get shouted out, because it doesn't really get shouted out outside of, you know, football terms usually, you know, 3.5, I think, is on a roll and all that. So, but it's good to hear. And it's honestly, it is an important part of it. You know, to what level, I guess, in today's game is up for argument. I was just talking about Jake Sorensen the other day. I brought up the idea of private equity, which is being brought in, which, might kind of phase the school part out of it, which, that's down the line. But I mean, if you're turning it into a professional league, it could get into that territory. But as of right now, it's not. As of right now, these are still student athletes. They still are going to class, and that's a big part of it. And there are a lot of schools out there. I mean, George is kind of one of the leading ones. It's a football factor. It's not really there to play school, if you will, because they don't graduate a big, a large portion of the roster that goes there. So, again, depends on the Big Ten's a little bit more prideful of their academics. I think that it also is good to kind of stand up for Nebraska on that side. So I think there's definitely still a role for that.
Getting into, I completely agree with everything you said. Getting into the football aspect of things, like I genuinely because we're going to play things that he says about Holgerson, and we're going to the defense. Man, he sounds confident about the defense and the offensive line and the defensive line. Like I saw one of the quotes. I don't even remember if it's in one of the clips we're going to play, but he said the offensive line may be the strength of the entire team. And there's a clip where he also talked about how the defensive line is just like he has high expectations. Like they're going to be gigantic problems. Now, part of me was like, two of the biggest question marks on the team are the offensive line, defensive line. Is he specifically addressing them and trying to prop them up for a reason? Yes, I think so. I think there's a little bit of coach speak in there, but I don't think that's a bad thing because what do you expect him to say? Also, he sure sounds to me like he legit believes it, and I have no reason to doubt that. So for me, I mean, even when I coach teams or whatever, there's going to be a certain amount of coach speak in anything you say, which is hence why it's called coach speak. But the other part of it is you have to believe what you're saying, at least to a certain degree, or you lose credibility. So for me, when he specifically talks about the defensive line, how he believes it's going to be a gigantic problem for other teams, and the offensive line maybe being the strength of the team, I still have to see it. But it gives you reason for optimism heading into the season. He genuinely seems to really like the team. And I know he flat out said that. There's little things I listen for when a person is talking in general that gives me cues to how much stock I'm going to put into it. Like if someone is pausing a ton, it indicates either they're thinking before they speak or they're full of it. If their voice gets really high, I'm probably not going to believe you as much. If somebody's just talking and they're rolling and they're confident and they're firm in their words, which that entire clip was, by the way, I'm much more likely to believe you. When a coach says something like certain little indicators, help me put more stock in things. When someone says, I haven't had this much fun in a long time, coaches don't just go around saying that. When he said in the spring, this is the team I've been waiting for. Like a coach doesn't have to say those exact words. And he was talking about the physicality aspect of the game. Those little indicators are things that help me personally put more credence into what he's saying. Now, I still got to see it on the field. I still want to see game one rolling out there against Cincinnati. I'd love to see us just roll them off the field, but get the dub and let's get that first win. Let's get to 3-0 and let's welcome Michigan 3:30 into Lincoln, Nebraska with their freshman quarterback and no head coach. I would love to just see it happen on the field. But where we're at right now, those little indicators here and there, those little things that people don't normally say, when you put those things in and you say it the way he said it, it lends more credibility, in my opinion. What about you?
Well, it's kind of interesting because this might sound kind of weird, but I think I start to believe it the more he does not say elite, and the more, more and more he kind of uses other descriptive terms. It's like, okay, because the elite stuff, I mean, he was saying that, especially year one and going into year two. And if everything's elite, then you don't have, what are you defining elite? It's kind of what I was saying with icon earlier, that word. And I thought that was got thrown around a little bit too much in kind of by Matt Rule and on around this team. And so, that to me at this point is coach speak. That's just okay. Yeah, you feel like, and not to say that it doesn't mean that he doesn't feel like a position is going in the right direction, but it's just kind of a comfortable word that they've used, trying to speak it into existence to a degree. And so when he's gets, like you said, the comfortability of which he's kind of saying it, the different phrases and words he's throwing out there, that makes me a little bit more confident that this is real and moving in the right path and not a speak to existence type of deal.
We do got to keep it balanced because I'm pausing because I'm debating whether I'm going to say we keep it real on this show. So I'm just going to say this is the same guy that said Jeff Sims can make every throw to be an NFL quarterback. Okay. He's the same guy that heading into spring ball 2 years ago or a year ago, 2 springs ago, said we're going to focus more on the passing game because we know we can run the ball. Didn't run the ball as great last year. All right. The Shadur Sanders comment before the draft, and then we know what happened with the draft. Now, I do believe he was trying to be more complimentary than anything else. He didn't sit for hours and hours and hours and analyze Shedeur Sanders as a draft pick. They did prepare for him. So you got to keep it balanced. And that's why when you're looking at these things, you're trying to pay attention to what the coach has to say and give credibility to it. That's why I say I've still got to see it on the field. I still got to see it on the field. Do I believe a top 5 transfer portal class is a big deal? Yes. A top 20 recruiting class? Yes. Year 3, Matt Rule? Yes. Year 2, Dylan Raiola? Yes. Dana Holgorsen, Mike Eckler, all these things. They're going to make a difference, and that lends credibility to it as well. Still got to see how it comes together. Just got to see what happens on the field. You got any final thoughts before we go on to the next clip? Or we're going to play that Dana Holgorsen clip next. You got anything else real quick?
You know, and like you said, I mean, it's just good. Most coaches aren't going to go to Big Ten meeting and say, well, I don't really know what we got coming into the season, you know, that sort of thing. So, but there's different attitude. I mean, Mike Locksley went up there and said, I lost the team last year, kind of talking about the NIL stuff. So, you know, there's kind of a different level of attitude. And Nebraska again came in, whether it's the Dillon National Championship stuff or you know, Matt Rule kind of propping up all these parts of their team. They're not shorting the expectation that this is the year to kind of take off. And again, I don't think you can. You might get a surprise, right? That it's not right. I don't think everybody goes. They didn't go into last year thinking, yeah, we'll probably lose to UCLA because of this reason, that reason, and the other. But you'd rather definitely go in as confident as you can. I would say this though, with a plan B, because if you just think we're the best, we're going to do great, everything's going well. Okay, when adversity strikes and what you thought you were doing great, maybe it's the offensive line, defensive line struggling that day. How do you manage around that? And so I've seen that before too, where some teams just kind of load up onto what their strength is and then don't kind of have that second approach if somebody else is just kind of out working you that day in that strength of the field. So I would say that I would just be I love all the talk about it. I would just be a little bit cautious, at least to, okay, what if things go a little bit awry? Let's not blow up the season and blow up everything, because now our confidence shoots all the way from up here all the way down here. Let's kind of have, you know, kind of some backup plans in place in case things don't go exactly the way we predict them to.
No, I agree with you. When you're talking about certain position groups, well, the offensive line might be the strength of the team. Well, then you kind of look at the defensive line, like, are you getting rolled in practice? By the way, they haven't had a fall practice yet. Just keep that in mind. Are you getting rolled in practice? Well, the defensive line is going to cause serious problems for opponents. Well, it's the offensive line getting rolled. So if he's complimentary of both sides, you know, just looking at it from a practice perspective, he's got to be going back to the spring and winter conditioning and what he's seen so far. We haven't seen a snap of fall practice yet. I believe they report on Sunday. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens throughout fall, who steps up. Like, you look at the projected starting offensive line, who we expect to be there. I just crossed out my own notes. Oh, there it is. So it seems, I mean, he was a Big Ten Media Days representing the team. It seems like Henry Letowski is going to be a starting guard, Rocco Spindler, Justin Evans, and Elijah Pritchett. Okay, probably at the left tackle spot. I still maintain these jobs have to be earned. And Matt Rule's asked, you know, the more a player is paid, does that affect playing time? And he talked about, essentially, you've got to earn it. And one of the highest paid players they had last year on the team didn't play that much. Do you ever guess who that player was?
I don't. I hadn't thought about it.
There's one guy that popped into my head, and he's on the O-line. But I don't know it for a fact. That's why I'm not saying a name. I don't know it for a fact, but his name popped into my head immediately.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, though. But those are the projected starters. Still got to earn it throughout camp. I will never change my opinion on that. It has been said that Tyler Knock will get the initial first-team reps in fall camp at right tackle. Now, Gunnar Katula's coming back. You've got Turner. You've got Teddy. By the way, Teddy Prohaska was almost at the football camp. There was one guy I thought wasn't going to be able to make it last minute. I called him. He's like, hey, Adam, I'll be there. So he's a great dude in general, obviously. And I even mentioned, hey, man, I'm rooting for you kind of because multiple knee injuries. I know what that's like to come back from. And I had more than him. I also failed. He hopefully comes back and is way more successful than I was after his knee injuries than I was after mine. So I'm personally rooting for Teddy specifically, obviously all these guys. I can relate to Teddy a little bit with the multiple knee injuries. Turner as well has had multiple injuries he's coming back from. So we'll see how the offensive line unfolds. But just from a player standpoint, when I would hear coaches talk, I would always be like, well, if one position group's doing really well, they're going against this position group in practice. So what does that mean? Does that mean they're both really good and they're making each other better? Does that mean maybe the opposite side of the ball isn't as good? He was complimentary of both sides of the ball. So I'm kind of curious to see how that unfolds when it comes to O-line, D-line, how that unfolds come game one versus Cincinnati. All right, let's go ahead. Let's roll Rule on Dana Holgorsen and that clip.
One thing about Dana, I'm just going to say it over and over and over again, because I think everyone sees Dana. They see like the old wild, what do they call it, the Red Bull. And, like, this guy's a grinder. He's a worker. Like, he's in there all the time. If you don't know, if you're not detailed, you're not executing, you're not going to play. Doesn't care about, well, going back to the question earlier, he doesn't care about how much money he made. He doesn't care about, like, how many plays you made last week. He cares about your preparation that week. And probably is a fault to me. That's the way I am on defense. I've probably never been that way on offense because I'm probably more bent the other way. And so having a guy who sees it like me is really, really good.
What are your thoughts there?
I think it's fascinating. Obviously, it is complimentary of Dana Holgorsen, but specifically to say that's he kind of has held that Matt Rule traditionally has maybe coached the offense differently than the defense, especially in kind of who's playing well and holding everybody accountable. That's really interesting, especially you kind of figure a little bit of what was going on with the tight end position last year. We kind of saw that specifically play out. And so again, I think it just kind of goes more in Dana Holgorsen, especially coming in, maybe didn't look like the best look that he didn't know the players' names. He was using numbers right away, but it also lets you know just kind of where that thought process is of, he's here for football. He's not here to make friends. And, when he was brought in, I don't know how much he's involved with recruiting and all that now. But I guess it's just, he's more here to win games, on the football field. He's kind of past the point in his career and, he's had hundreds, if not thousands of athletes already under him. That he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to dance around feelings too much.
Oh, not at all. I love that about him too. I think what Rule is kind of getting at is you almost have to a degree, re-earn your job every week. You've got to show up every day. You got to re-earn your job, at least to a degree, every week. All right. It's funny you talk about the numbers thing because I actually had written numbers here, all right, as you were talking about it. Because when he came in last year, one of the things that I liked was he made changes. I can't think of one that didn't have a positive impact. And I'm not taking shots at anybody who was taken out, whether it was Emmett at the running back spot, whether it was different wide receivers in different spot. You talked about the tight end position. Lindenmeyer is going to be starting for us this year, at least that's the projected starter. I'm still curious to see because Rule said Mark McWay and Carter Nelson are both good to go health-wise at the start of camp. So that's awesome to see. I can't wait to see what they do with them. How do they utilize the Swiss Army knife known as Heinrich Harburg? But he made a lot of those changes. He made them right away. He made them without hesitation. He was unapologetic. And I can't think of one that didn't have a positive effect on the offense the rest of the season. When he was at the podium naming numbers, or not naming numbers, but listing numbers instead of names, I actually got a huge kick out of that. Because what are the odds somebody's going to be here for 7 days and know everyone's name and learning the entire playbook that Nebraska had? I actually got a kick out of that because I remember watching that press conference being like, my God, I don't even know if I know the numbers yet with everything he's got to learn. I was actually impressed that he knew that. Yeah. And then I remember him specifically talking about the wide receivers and listing a couple of numbers like, you're big kids. It's embarrassing that you're not blocking better. And he wasn't afraid to say, we need to address this now. And there's no reason it shouldn't be happening now. Okay. You remember that in that press conference, I assume, yeah?
Yeah.
So, all right, again, ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Mulberry BBQ, 61st and Highway 2. Proud sponsor of Hour 2 here on the Adam Carriker Show. Come out to Mulberry's. Come join us. They got delicious food, delicious sides, brisket, ribs, chicken, sausage. The barbecue is obviously phenomenal as well. All right, let's see what we got here. So we got about, 4 more clips to roll with? Here's what I think we should do. Let's head to break real quick. All right, it'll give us a little bit more time in our last 2 segments instead of having to rush through the next clip and analyzation real quick. So let's head to break here. We'll extend the next 2 segments a little bit, and we're going to play a clip where Rule is, he is bold on the defense. And then Cignetti, little Kurt Cignetti, never hurt nobody. And then Dylan Raiola kind of did a Kobe MJ comparison to a degree. So we got a few more things to get through. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Although we can't control the air we breathe outside our home, we can make a healthy difference inside, and all it takes is a call to Bryant. With healthy air options, Bryant can help you eliminate allergens, odors, and harmful chemicals, all while controlling indoor humidity levels at the same time. If it's time for a breath of fresh air inside, it's time to call Bryant. Breathe easy, breathe healthy. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at starterheyman.com.
Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This just in. Hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And I quote, Nebraska is a program that deserves to be back. Not because of me, but because that's the kind of program it is. Dylan Raiola. Here's a couple other random things. If you hadn't heard, Memphis made a $250 million offer to join the Big 12. The Big 12 said no. Can you believe that? All right, SMU head coach Rhett Lashley took a shot at the SEC in defense of the strength of the ACC. And I quote, the SEC has had the same 6 schools win the championship. 64. Not a single one has been different since 1964. That's top heavy to me. That's not depth. End quote. I didn't realize that. Did you realize that? The same 6 schools?
Well, he's talking about national championships. I think that's very strange. I don't see that as like a shot at the SEC. Yeah, at a certain point, not all 16 teams are going to win. Keep in mind, Texas and Oklahoma just joined. They have also won national championships. So I don't know. I kind of thought that, and I was like, should we look up how many championships the Big 12 or ACC? I don't know how many teams left. Florida State, Clemson. I don't know how deeper you'd get in the ACC.
Let's see.
Georgia Tech,
Florida State, Clemson, Miami. Georgia Tech has got one as well. 4.
Yeah.
4. You look at. I talked about the Big 12 the other day. It was BYU and Colorado.
Yeah. And to that too, the other one was kind of interesting because Iowa State was so when Memphis wants to join, it's kind of interesting just to see that money because they're offering money to get in. Iowa State, part of their problem, that deficit you were talking about, what they kind of highlighted was there's too many teams in the Big 12. Part of their loss is that they were expecting more money. Now there's more teams in the Big 12. So it's just so fascinating to see all these moving parts.
The pie can only be divided up so many ways, and then the slice gets to get a little bit too small for some. All right, let me see the next thing I got here. Tight end Ahmad Johnson, all right, 5-star, top basketball recruit. Number 1 tight end recruit in the country, was here for the battle at the Boneyard. His team with Trey Taylor won the 7-on-7 tournament. He has narrowed it down to his final 5 schools: Texas A&M, Florida, Ohio State, Nebraska, Baylor, and LSU. That is 6. Excuse me for not being able to count, but narrowed it down to his final 6 schools. And I know Nebraska is a legit strong contender for him, so we will see what happens there. Speaking of SEC gauntlets, off-season schedules this year: Georgia, Austin P. Marshall, Charlotte, LSU, Louisiana Tech, Southeastern Louisiana, Western Kentucky, Auburn, Ball State, South Alabama, Mercer, Oklahoma. I'm not going to make fun of their schedule in general. They can play nobody and still have a tough schedule, so I'm going to move on. Texas A&M, UTSA, Utah State, Samford, Texas, San Jose State, UTEP, Sam, Houston State, Tennessee, ETSU, is that Eastern Tennessee, I assume, UAB, New Mexico State. When there's more initials than there are actual names spelled out, that doesn't tend to be a great indicator. I mean, I could keep on going. You go to Mississippi State, they actually play Southern Miss, but then Alcorn State, Northern Illinois. And I know you look at Nebraska, we took Tennessee off, but when you sit there and the SEC just acts like they're playing an NFL schedule, like Oklahoma, Florida, okay, everybody else, like you're playing nobody in the non-conference. Then you have an extra bye week essentially right before your rivalry games in November because you have that 4th non-con game, which is generally not a tough team at all, to put it mildly and kindly, and you're only playing 8 conference games. I get what you're saying, but to a certain degree, I kind of get tired of hearing about that. Like you need to actually play somebody outside of your conference, all right, because you're just jacking up the win column. And now that's going to jack everybody up in the rankings. And then you go play in the CFP and you go play in the bowl games and you lose to teams who actually played, 1 or 2 Power 4 teams in their non-conference and 9 conference games. And all of a sudden, your insanely tough conference schedule seem more like a word salad than legitimate. Does that make sense?
It's very sad what's kind of happening in the non-con portion of our sport because of that 9-game, 8-game argument between conference schedules there. I will say that, you kind of listed off Georgia. You didn't mention Georgia Tech there. So there are some remember they only play
my bad.
Yeah, so they only play 8 conference games, so they got an extra one, and Georgia Tech will be a heck of a team this year. So again, some of those teams do have, do schedule good enough games, but again, now we're kind of seeing it, and I don't blame the Big Ten at all with what we saw with Indiana. I know we'll get to Kurt Signetti here in a bit, but Matt Rule to the approach of, hey, if you guys are going to take it light, then we're going to take it light. We're not going to play one extra hard game, especially, again, maybe all this could be fixed a little bit too if the College Football Playoff Committee wasn't a little bit lenient into the SEC, it seems, or at least lenient into total wins as opposed to strength of schedule.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
All right, so we're going to go into the defense here real quick and play a clip from Rule and what he had to say about the defense. He called John Butler one of the most fierce competitors he's ever known. All right, but one final thought on the offense before we move to that side of the ball. Like, is this one of the deepest wide receiver rooms you've seen in Nebraska recently, Jake? All right, quick answer here, but we got Ja'Cory Barney, Dane Keene, Isaiah Hunter, Janiran Bonner, Cortez Mills, Jeremiah Jones, Quinn Clark, Demetrius Bell, just to name a few. Is that the deepest wide receiver room you've seen in quite a while here at Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Again, I think there's certain rooms that kind of stick out. You kind of think about the Kenny Bells and Quincy Anunoas and Jamal Turners and that whole group that was there, Westerkamp, Brennan Riley, a DPE at a certain point, and I'm kind of going over different eras, but right there. And then I think about Maurice Purify and Nate Swift and Todd Peterson and Franz Hardy in that group. This is going to be right up there, but the question is who's going to stand out. There's a lot of expectation on Dane Key to be that guy, and so we'll see. Just a few touchdowns last year in the SEC. I think he's going to need to get that up considerably, and hopefully be somewhat of a red zone target for Nebraska. And then there are the other guys. I mean, I think it's fascinating to see who's going to lead this team in receptions, receiving touchdowns, and receiving yards, because it could be three different people, and I think that lets you know how deep this room is.
All right, my man, let's roll into it. Matt Rule had to say about their defense. Let's go ahead and roll that defensive clip.
When I go out places, people ask me about the defensive line a lot, and our defensive line is going to be hell on wheels. Just watch. We can talk about a lot of things, and what we have though, we have Andrew Marshall, and we have Sierra Wright, and we have Amari Sanders and Bly Hill and Jeremiah Charles. We got corners that can match up and play man. We got Javen Wright, who's a cheat code. He can match all the best tight ends in this league. Like, you don't have to put a safety on him, but you have an extra safety to rob people. So we can play man, load the box, and stop the run if we have to. We can blitz. When I go to bed at night, the things that keep me up at night is not the D line. Our defense is going to be good, and I like Butler. He's an aggressive guy, and he's not going to settle for bad defense.
I mean, there was a lot of confidence in there, which excites me. I wouldn't even say confidence. I would say boldness. Now, I do know Matt Rule's more involved on the defensive side of the ball. And so, obviously, he's the head coach of the entire team, but he's personally more involved on the defensive side of the ball. So, when he speaks that boldly and that confidently, he talks about Javen Wright being a cheat code, and he talks about Andrew Marshall, Zaire Wright, and he talks about things that keeping up at night. It is not the defensive line. They're going to be a problem for opposing teams. That's what Matt Rule had to say. Again, very confidently, no hesitation. What's your reaction?
Like you said, a lot to kind of break down there. To say Andrew Marshall before Sierra Wright even, I think is kind of interesting. Okay, as we kind of look at that opposite cornerback spot and mention Amari Sanders in there. So it's a couple names that we still kind of wonder for that opposite cornerback spot. But then specifically, kind of Javen Wright, talking about him being a cheat code. I mean, that's a huge honor to kind of say that, and lets you know how they're going to be able to be versatile when they are facing an attack from different levels of opponents that they're going to play. We've talked about it. They're not going to play for the majority deep offenses that are very lethal, or at least that weren't last year. So they're going to have an opportunity to eat, if you will, up there. But it does, I think it's interesting because all that versatility, all that excitement that he mentioned in the back seven still does rely on that front four, front three, whatever they're going to run there at different times, applying pressure and stopping the run and all that sort of stuff. So it was interesting because he very much gave a compliment to the defensive line, but then just kind of moved on to the other pieces. And so, I mean, maybe that's because he feels like, defensive line's good to go. Here's some other pieces I can brag about. I feel pretty good about it. I know Nash and Ty is the big thing. You got to replace them. But between Van Poppel and Cam Meredith and Elijah Judy, Keona Davis, we've seen a lot of these guys already. It's not like they're not, brand new guys. I hope they can do something. And then you added some pieces in the transfer portal as well, for depth, or to kind of see maybe in the pass rush with Williams Nwaneri. We'll see what it all kind of looks like here in the end. But I feel pretty good about it, but they've been very complimentary about it. I mean, I remember earlier in the offseason, he said they were going to be one of the best around. So
best defensive lines. Yep.
Yeah. Best defensive line. So we'll see. It doesn't seem to be a major worry on the inside.
He flat out said what keeps him. So apparently there's something keeping him up at night. All right. So, but he said it's not the defensive line. And to your point, he said they're going to have one of the best defensive lines around before spring ball started, before they had a single practice at all. Now here we are heading into camp, and he's like, this is not something that keeps me up at night. They're going to be a problem for opposing teams. Again, they haven't had a practice yet in camp, so keep that in mind as well. I thought there was an interesting point you made. Complimented the defensive line and then kind of went to naming players at other positions. Part of me wonders, because you listed a lot of the guys on the defensive line, they may not know who the starters are just yet, because again, camp doesn't kick off till Sunday. So they may not be to that point yet. So he may not be listing. He may be like, hey, we got 6-7 really good guys. I just don't know who the starters are yet. So you compliment the group as a whole, and then we figure out who's going to start, who's the top rotational guy, who comes in on nickel, who comes in on whatever the different packages that they're going to have are into Butler's defense this fall. So maybe that's why he doesn't list names. He knows as a group they're good, but they're kind of figuring out, who's going to be here, who's going to be there. Again, haven't had a single fall camp practice yet. I said all this offseason, the second level of our defense, it has been a long time since we have been this athletic. Marquez Watson-Trent is a tackling machine in the middle, but you got Dawson McCullough, Williams and Wari, and I'm curious to see his progression this year. Again, first round talent, does he even start game one? Because his ceiling is as high as anybody's on this team, and there's projected first round picks on this team as we go along down the road, a year or two, whatever the case may be. But he's a young man who's still learning. Obviously, he's going to be a freshman this year. The Dawson McCullough, you've got all these guys from Willis McGahee, who almost won the fastest man competition at the Husker games, was right there with Ja'Cory Barney. All right, you've got who's the linebacker?
Vince Shavers.
Vince, that's the one I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, including myself, have high expectations for him. He's a guy who was complimented 2 springs ago going into his true freshman season. He was complimented during press conferences. So the second level of this defense, once again, the athleticism runs wild. Shout out to Hulk Hogan right there. Runs wild. I do think there'll be a learning curve just due to the youth. There may be some busts here or there. Don't freak out, okay? We don't play a road game, not that those first games are gimmies at all, but until mid-October. So there's a bit of a learning curve. Got to beat Cincinnati, get to that Michigan game. But it's going to be exciting to watch what they can do with all the athletes. All right, in that second level. And the third level of the defense, there's a lot of guys with playing experience. And it is interesting. He listed Andrew Marshall right away. And when he said his name, we've got Andrew Marshall. Like, it was like, we've got Andrew Marshall. You know what I mean? Like, specifically him. And we know what Zaire Wright can do. We saw what he did last year. And then we've got other guys who have a ton of experience in that secondary. Now, who exactly goes where? How do the pieces of the puzzle fit? I think you said it. I think it was when spring ball started. You might have a lot of guys with experience, but who are the guys who can step up and be the consistent starters? Do we have those yet? Have we figured that out yet? We got a whole fall camp to get through. But I'm going to come back to it. And it's not because I'm a D lineman, a former D lineman. When I was in high school and I was the quarterback, I would tell you, those offensive linemen make my day either really fun or really bad. It's the offensive line, the defensive line. Linebackers, they don't turn around and yell at the DBs. They yell at the defensive linemen if blockers are getting to them. Like, linemen in practice, the skill guys get the majority of the field. Now you practice with like 3 different fields, but they get the majority of the field, and the linemen are all stuck in the corner. But come game day, the coaches are coming over to the linemen like, you set the tone. You're the ones who are going to make this game happen, because it all starts up front. What this defensive line is able to do, what they can do consistently, this defense will follow in suit. How good this defense is not, whatever the case may be, it's going to start up front.
Well, I think that's why people, the last couple of years, that's why people are wondering, because Jordan, Ty and Nash were so dominant and so good up there. And that's what that's what the question is. Of course, we know offensive defensive line is going to be very important, especially in the Big Ten, like you mentioned, in any football game. Because there was something special with that defensive line group for the 2 years that Tony White was here. Remember, going into year one, that was a major question mark.
Yep.
Going in that spring game, it was like, what is this defensive line going to look like? And I thought they looked fantastic in that first year. Big question going into that season, and of course had a top 25 defense. Does whatever magic they had, did that leave? Did that go to Florida State with your defensive coordinator and defensive line coach? Or is there still some of that in the building? Or maybe you scratch and start from anew. But I'll tell you, that was one of the successful of all the things we can kind of complain about in the first couple of years of Matt Rule. The defensive line room might be the most successful.
Yeah, the defensive line room. I do remember, you brought it up, Matt Rule's first year, Ty Robinson was the only guy in that entire defensive line that had any starting experience at all. And then they went out and they were the strength of the team that first year. The team, not just the defense, which was the strength of the team. They were the strength of the strongest unit on the team, which made them the strength of the team. So just because there's guys that we haven't seen do it yet doesn't mean they can't do it. It just means I want to see it. I'm dying to see it, especially as a former defensive lineman myself. Javin Wright, man, cheat code. PlayStation, PS5, he's the cheat code. Put him on the opposing tight end. You don't need to bring another safety in. You can leave that linebacker on the field and act like he's a safety because he can cover any tight end in this league, yet he's a bigger body that obviously is going to help in the run game. That's what Matt Rule said. What's your reaction to that? Because I was like, wow. Like, I was excited when we found out we were coming back. It's his 7th year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
he's 25 years old, I think.
Like, no defense, nobody's ever played their 7th year at Nebraska.
He's the most Husker there's ever been.
The most Husker there's ever been. I like that term. So I was excited because he battled a lot last year. I was happy when he was able to come back. I'm happy. I was happy when I learned he was coming back, and to hear Matt Rule be so complimentary of him. Those are strong words. Cheat code. Man, when somebody calls you a cheat code, it's hard to think of a much stronger compliment going into a season.
And I can't wait to see, because we've seen flashes from Javin Wright. We know that the injuries have played in there, but he's been somewhat of a playmaking linebacker, if you will, when he has been healthy. And, you know, he's had his up and downs, even on the field when he has been out there. But here he's the most veteran presence that they could ask for, and we'll see what he can provide to the team. Like you said, cheat code makes me feel like he's going to be out there just about every play. Like you said, that can open up, you know, Hartzog or whoever's kind of playing that roaming safety position. So it's huge. But I will say this, I hope he lives up to it, because while Nebraska does not play a lot of great offenses, most of the offenses that aren't great, or in any case in the Big Ten, it's just a really good tight end league this year. So that's, you know, if he's going to be the one that's expected to be the cheat code to cover the tight end, he's going to have to win a lot of those battles. And if he does, that could open up so much for this black shirt defense.
That is a fair point. We briefly talked about it a week or two ago. Penn State, USC, Michigan, and even Michigan, young quarterback a year ago, wasn't exactly putting up a million points, even when they beat Alabama and Ohio State. I think it was a combined 44 points between the two games. Their defense was dominant those last two games. So we're not facing the most explosive offenses on planet Earth this year. All right, we expect Penn State to be really good. Lincoln Riley's at USC. Michigan's going to Michigan. But, man, when you think about the type of offenses and quarterbacks we're going to face, they're good, but there's not a ton of guys that are going to terrify you. But the tight end position may be the strongest offensive position, running backs too, possibly, in the entire Big Ten Conference. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. All right. I know I'm going back to the offense here real quick, but I just want to remind people. All right, Mark McWay, I mentioned this the other day. He's actually the highest rated tight end on the college football video game. But just a reminder, he played in 12 games as a true freshman at LSU, okay, and was one of the highest recruited tight ends in the entire country. That tight end room in our own right is so intriguing to me. Just so many guys who can do so many different things. Who steps up? Who sees the most playing time, and how are they utilized? All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Serving our listeners for 43 years, Wolf Ace Hardware, your local hardware man, would like to take the time to salute our military, first responders, law enforcement, and firefighters who are there for us year-round. Let's all take a moment to give them the respect they deserve. Wolf Ace Hardware, located at 6118 Havelock Avenue in Lincoln, a quality company that cares. Contractors and homeowners, get to Wolf Ace Hardware for all your paint, brushes, and anything else you need for your upcoming projects. For more information, call 402-466-7707. Pick up everything you need at Wolf Ace Hardware, where you're always appreciated as a friend and customer. Wishing all of you a very healthy and prosperous summer season.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at StarterHeyman.com.
Starter Heyman Jewelers.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, My niece wants to know if she donates her hair to Locks of Love and the recipient of her hair commits a crime and leaves hair at the crime scene, will her DNA be found all over the crime scene and thus incriminate her? By the way, she's 12. What are your thoughts on this, Jake?
Well, that's some good next level thinking. At least. Yeah, I think that's something you have to know. I think you'll be good. But I mean, I can't explain through it or why. I think you probably might be covered through the Locks of Love. You might be able to explain that away, but
it wasn't very convincing.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I think it might be there. Yeah, it might be. You might get a call.
It's one of those critical thinkings questions that you get at the end of the test. They really want you to put some thought into it. I always hated those. By the way, it's Mac Markway, not Mark McWay. I've gotten that wrong a couple of times today.
Too.
So, all right, a couple of quick things before we dive into the last clip here. Nebraska is hiring Matt Pierce as recruiting coordinator, all right, as being reported by 247 Sports. All right, Pierce was most recently Coastal Carolina's director of recruiting, where he helped sign the Sun Belt #1 class in 2024. He's also a Nebraska alumnus. All right, a couple other quick things. Free agent defensive tackle Khalil Davis has decided to retire per his agent. He's 28 years old, a draft pick by the Bucs in 2020, recently played for the Texans and 49ers, who traded for him at last year's deadline. 46 tackles, 10 TFLs, and 3 sacks throughout his NFL career. All right, moving on to volleyball. 3 Huskers made the AVCA Player of the Year watch list. All right, middle blocker Andy Jackson, outside hitter Harper Murray, and setter Bergen Riley. All right, on that watch list there. And if you go by social media impact, I mean, I'm staring at a list of the volleyball players in the country who had the most amount of increase in total followers. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 10 people on this list, and 6 of them are from Nebraska. Then you've got Ali Battenhorst. Isn't that basically Nebraska?
Former Husker,
USC.
yeah.
All right, then you got Texas, you got Louisville, and you got a Florida player on there. 6 of the top 10 volleyball players in the country that had the largest increase in total followers on social media, like Harper Murray, Lexi Rodriguez, Andy Jackson, Bergen Riley, Laney Choboy, Mara Beeson. I'm going to throw Ali Battenhorst in. That's 7 out of 10 that are directly connected to Nebraska. And then you got Texas, Louisville, Florida as 3 as some of the other players as well. All right, we got 2 more clips to play. We'll save Kurt Signetti for Monday. Give something people to look forward to over the weekend.
There you go. Good tease.
We almost got to everything today. 2 hours. I talk fast, and we still can't get through all the content we got. How crazy is that? All right, let's roll Dylan, where he makes kind of the Kobe MJ comparison. Let's go ahead and roll that clip, and then we'll give our reaction.
Your relationship with Patrick Mahomes, well documented. I'm sure you get a little bit tired of being asked about it sometimes, but does it ever get to you? Does it add pressure to you? Is it something you embrace getting compared to him? I mean, you've got the look, you got everything down, but just that relationship, does it add pressure to you to perform?
No, it doesn't. It's kind of just the lens I look through it. I'm not comparing myself to Kobe or anything, but like Kobe did to Mike, that's kind of what it is for me to Patrick. And so for him, like you said, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, if not the best. And just for me to be able to have someone to look up to, talk, call, whatever. And then kind of the comparisons is kind of everything outside, right? And I mean, I can't control God made me look like this, play the same sports, but no, it's all love. Football's a great game. It provides great opportunities for everybody, so it's pretty cool.
All right, your thoughts there, Jake?
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I especially think it's good that he said not to compare myself to Kobe. Of course, when the national fan base, all the other fan bases rush in and saying he's comparing himself to Kobe and all that. But it's a good comparison. Again, not necessarily having achieved that level of status, though, is that Kobe's game reflected a lot of what Michael Jordan's did, and it's because he was the best player on planet Earth for basketball. And so, why not emulate that guy? And that's what Dylan Raiola does, and the fact that they have a personal connection, it kind of can work out together and all that. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. If you're an understudy of the greatest quarterback on planet Earth, why not? Now, again, then you get to, well, God made me look like this, all that sort of stuff. Fans kind of, again, opposing fans kind of tore him apart because he really leans into it. But all that to be said, it's good. I thought it was a very good answer. Again, got some national dialogue going on Dylan Raiola in Nebraska's behalf.
It's funny because I've seen clips where MJ flat out said Kobe stole my moves. Like he would legit take moves and then try to use them against Jordan when Kobe first entered the league. As long as you're your own player, like a lot of the things that I'll do is I'll take bits and pieces from things that I see other people, what works for them on their show, and I'll kind of grab those and then I'll put me all over it. Like, I like being unique. I like being different, better, worse, whatever the case may be. That's for the listeners to decide. But hey, this worked, this worked, this worked. Okay, I'll kind of connect these things like a little puzzle and then just smear Adam Carriker all over it. So I see nothing wrong with that. I never once thought of Kobe, like, a lot of things were similar to MJ, but he was his own person. Like, he was his own person and player. So Dylan, he's got the 15. If you watch his pregame warm-up and everything that he does, I saw someone put it on social media. It's the exact same.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, Kobe would take things from Jordan, but then Kobe would put Kobe all over it. As long as Dylan, if you're going to learn from one of the best, why would you not? Just put Dylan all over it at the end of the day, though. As long as you at the end of the day are doing your thing, hey, I got no problem with how you get there. Does that make sense to you? You kind of look like you're thinking and maybe disagreeing.
Yeah, no, and I think that would probably could help him out a little bit more as far as the jokes that the other people make about. But that's what I love. I kind of like it. Is damn the jokes that other people are making. I have a personal relationship with this guy. The style that he does is pretty much popular among Dylan's age group because of Patrick. So he's not the only one that emulates him. He's just the only one with a good enough arm to go start as a freshman at Nebraska. So there's a lot that kind of goes into that. I will say again with that comparison, I do think at times it has hurt him. I think when we talk about running, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best guys. I said earlier in the show about getting, scrambling, getting close to the line of scrimmage and making some miraculous throw. Dylan tried to do that, or somewhat tries to do that sometimes when there's 4 yards ahead of him for the first down. Instead, he tries to make a throw that looks like a Patrick Mahomes type of throw. And so I think, again, you do have to kind of put your personal spin on it. You aren't Patrick Mahomes. Maybe one day you could get there, but so that is one thing I would caution a little bit is keep it contained to a degree. Like you said, put your spin on it.
I think you make a great point. There aren't many quarterbacks out there with the physical tools to try to even emulate Patrick Mahomes to begin with. Dylan has those tools. He flat out does. But at the end of the day, like we both talked about, at the end of the day, like if Patrick's going to make these no-look passes and things of that nature, hey, that's awesome. Patrick's won 3 Super Bowls. He's a grown man with a wife, etc. Like Dylan just turned 20. At the end of the day, you got to be Dylan Raiola, and you still got to do your thing and put Dylan all over it. And as long as he does that, which I believe he's doing that, it's going to go really, really well. So it's been a jam-packed show, as always. Almost got through everything, although we kind of knew it wasn't realistic. The show is always loaded. We'll roll over with Curt Cignetti on Monday. That sounded. We're not going to roll over. We are going to hold off on Curt Cignetti until Monday. Give the fine folks at home something to look forward to. And honestly, I've got a bunch more notes and everything else, playoff-wise, things that other coaches said, and from the Big Ten Media Days, and some other notes that we will get to on Monday. Have a glorious weekend. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bugs.
$93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We're going to be partly to mostly cloudy here for your Friday. Very slight chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon into this evening.